Syracuse poses so many problems just with their ability to shoot the three, with their point guard, the ability she has to create open shots for them. You know, the way they pressure 94 feet for 40 minutes. And despite all of that, I was very proud of our players and their effort tonight and how hard they played and how they battled and how they learned so much from game one to game two. And, you know, we didn't really compete as well the first time around. And I thought our players competed today and, you know, did a lot of good things defensively, offensively. And it just, at the end of the game, just the point guard was able to come off of that screen. We changed the way we were defending it because we didn't want to give up open threes. And she was able to get to the rim. And, you know, it's probably an adjustment that we should have gone back to with the hedge, with Callista, and trying to take the ball out of her hands. We started switching when they went to the double high. But, you know, she's a handful, and I just thought our players, they battled. And it's unfortunate. I just think our margin for error down the stretch is so slim, and we just didn't capitalize and create scoring opportunities.
What adjustments did you guys make from game one to game two to defend better against Syracuse?
Well, I think, you know, going into game one, Syracuse, I mean, they shoot so many threes, whether a team has played zone or played man. I mean, I've seen them shoot as many as 43 threes, and they average 9 makes a game, and they hit 10 against us. But I think, you know, watching that game, we just were picked apart. I mean, we just, once the game started, I thought in the first 5 minutes of the last game we were battling. We were, you know, moving the ball, you know, against their defense. We took care of it. But then defensively, in the 2-3 zone, we got out-rebounded. We got killed on the boards. And then they were just, you know, too many open threes. And we felt coming into this game that we need to make them earn it. And I thought they shot a lot of threes again. But, you know, they made 7, which is below their average. But we played a lot more man today. We were hedging the on-ball screen. And that's when we were coming off of number 4. I don't know, not even attempt her name. But we were hedging her, and then you have to rotate to help on the post rolls, and then you're exposed at the three-point line. So then we went to supporting, and Kawhi was doing a good job of fighting over, and then we ended up switching on the double high, but then she was able to get into the rim. But, you know, you'd rather have a contested 2 than an open 3. But she made plays down the stretch, and you know, we just fell a little short.
Coach, would you attribute the lack of points on offense to issues with the system or just a lack of execution on the court?
You know, if I look at the number of minutes that these starters are playing, I think fatigue becomes a factor with us. And, you know, these are the players that either they're getting the job done throughout the first 2 quarters. We made some substitutions, you know, in the second quarter, and they come out and they hit 2 quick threes. And so then, you know, not having confidence to go to your bench. I thought Cassidy Walsh gave us some minutes. Probably could have tried maybe 1 player off the bench at a time just to rest some people. But fatigue sometimes becomes a factor down the stretch because if you watch the fourth quarter, we're still getting open looks. And then some of them were just short, in and out. But, you know, and then fatigue sometimes, I think, defensively became a factor because we put them on the free throw line 19 times.
And Callista Walters was able to start the game off hot. She still finished 4 for 5, but what were some of the defensive changes that Syracuse made to deny her looks inside?
Well, I mean, we did a great job in the first half of, you know, the ball movement, whatever we execute, whatever the play call was. I thought we did a great job of playing out of it. And then with all of the movement that we were doing offensively, Callista ended up being isolated one-on-one, and Syracuse plays on the high side. And we felt if we could continue to do that, you know, we worked on when the ball was in a certain situation of the high-low situations or from the wing, taking away the weak side help. And in the first half, it was really effective. And then you saw in the second half, every time the ball was on the wing, the weak side help was there. And that's when Elena or our guards were open on the weak side because now they were sitting in the paint, sending someone at her so that she wasn't effective on the block. But, you know, we went to her a couple of times. She deferred, a couple turnovers trying to go to her. She got to the free throw line once, but, you know, we talk about it all the time that she needs to be a factor for us. And, you know, one thing I said before the game, on radio is that for us to be competitive in this game, we needed all 5 starters to be in double figures. And I think if that would have held true, it would have been a different game.
Coach, Syracuse got a lot of offensive rebounds in this game. That gave them a lot of second chances. Do you think there's a way to fix that going forward?
Well, 10 is not as bad as I've seen against us. You know, they're long. No denying we are undersized. We start a 4-guard lineup, and we're undersized. Some of them we just need to win the hustle plays and be a little tougher. But, you know, that's the way they play. I mean, they send 4 people to the boards, and they're constantly coming at you. Even when you have a rebound, they're knocking it out of your hands or bumping you, and they just are very physical and aggressive on the offensive glass. And you know, I thought it was a little better, even though we gave up 15. It was, you know, 6 of them were dead ball rebounds that they didn't come up with, but neither did we. So, you know, I thought it was a little bit better.
What makes number 45, Strawman and Drummond so hard to stop on defense?
You know, I think their versatility. You know, you have to respect them at 3. But, you know, you look at Drummond, and she's really good off the dribble as well, so you have to respect her as a shooter but also a scorer. And then you look at 45, you have to, you know, she's a 3-point shooter, and then she's so long. You know, when she's around the rim, you know, if you send a double team, she's so long that she can throw over top of it. So we'd rather take you know, an option of having a challenge shot. I thought Callista's, she's active defensively, and but, you know, a lot of her points are coming from the perimeter as a face-up 4.
How are you guys able to limit Munga Kahia so well? She was averaging 18 points, 10 assists on the year. You guys held her to below both of those totals. What made you successful against her?
Well, I think with coming into this game, you know, Kawhi Bradley is, you know, the answer for us defensively, and we'll, you know, try to put her if we have the opportunity. A lot of times Jasmine Whitney will guard the other team's point guard. But since she handles the ball so much, we just wanted to use Kawhi's length, her quickness, and, you know, Kawhi can play angles. And I thought, you know, throughout the course of the game, Kawhi did a really good job of defending her. And Jasmine, you know, we didn't want to put her on there just because we can't afford Jasmine to get in foul trouble. Jasmine's being dogged 40 minutes, 94 feet, so she has to now handle the pressure and defend her. You know, I knew Jasmine would have to play a lot of minutes today, and it's not something we were looking to do coming into today's game. But I thought Kawhi really stepped up to the challenge. I mean, she had 2 points at halftime. I know she ended up with 14, but, you know, 6 of those were from the free throw line late in the game when we had to foul, and then she did make a couple plays coming off of that high screen in the middle of the floor.
Yeah, I know you finished the game with a total of 14 turnovers, but I know towards the end of the 3rd quarter there was a stretch of about 4 minutes where you had 4 turnovers. What do you think some changes the players need to make to limit those? Well,
I mean, we got for 2 days we worked against our practice guys. I mean, just constantly trapping us, full court man, double teaming, the 2-2-1, the 1-2-2, full court press, and, you know, I thought for the most part we did a good job. Callista Walters, you know, typically we'll put her in the middle or we'll put her back, but, you know, she needed to come up and give Jasmine a screen, and I said it doesn't matter. You know, that we have to be able to get the ball in, and we have to be able to get it across half court. And I think sometimes we just got a little lazy in the execution. I know we had a couple turnovers on the inbounds. We had a couple turnovers just mishandling handling the ball. Number 4 has really quick hands. We talked about not crossing the ball over, not being lazy with the basketball, and she came up with a few steals. But we just need, you know, fatigue cannot become a factor in those situations, and we cannot allow them. Syracuse creates chaos on the floor, and, you know, the last time we played them, I think we played into that, where we were shooting quickly and just feeding into the high possession game that they wanted to play. And I thought this game we did a better job of our decision making of whether to run or pull back and run offense.
What changes do you guys want to make against NC State this Thursday night?
I mean, I've seen NC State just because as I'm preparing for other teams. I don't typically prepare for another team until tonight after this game. But having seen them, they're long, they're athletic. You know, they have a couple shooters. I would foresee us playing a lot more 2-3 zone in that game with their length and the presence they have inside scoring wise. And I think you know, they have for sure couple kids who can shoot the ball. We just have to respect them from three. But defensively, they're really good defensively. They either hedge an on-ball screen, or they body it under it, and a lot of times it's based on personnel. So we just have to be ready for how they will defend our players when we're executing offense.
If there is one aspect to the team you feel comfortable with preparing for ACC tournament play, what would that be?
You know, I just love the fight in our players, that they haven't quit at this time of year, despite our record, despite knowing that we don't have a postseason, NCAA, WNIT, and our players, the focus in every day in practice to prepare for every game and the way they go out and battle. I'm excited about the next two games, finishing this season, and then headed to the ACC tournament and see what happens, because they just haven't quit, and that's something as a coach. When you're in this situation, teams can very easily quit, and our players have not.
How are you guys able to defend better against Syracuse this time around compared to when you guys put them in the Carrier Dome back in January?
I mean, this is the second time we played them, so all we did is watch our film from the first time we played them and just made some adjustment.
Do you guys feel as if some of the offensive rebounds you gave up early on in the contest kind of hurt your cause early on?
Definitely. I think all the little things hurt us in the end, you know, missed foul shots, turnovers, their points off of our turnovers, offensive rebounds, they all come and play at the end of the game.
What makes Drummond and Strawman such tough players to defend against?
I think they're just aggressive and they're very versatile. They can shoot and drive, and then if you like help off of them, they always look for the open player.
Yeah, they play good together, and they have like so many weapons that can score. So, I mean, at one point we held them not like they weren't scoring, but I feel like if we were scoring, the game would have been a different game. But at the same time, we were getting stops, but we weren't scoring.
Calista, you had a lot of success down low in the second quarter. Then that kind of, they played better defense down the stretch and tried to take that away. What exactly did they do that was able to limit that?
I think just in the first half, it was just easier to get the high-low because they were so worried about our guards at the three-point line, and I think they just made the adjustment and were in help. So.
Yeah, what do you guys think are some of the most crucial adjustments you three need to make finishing out the season play and going into the ACC tournament?
I think we just need to be more aggressive. You know, I think when you come in as an underdog, you know, you have nothing to lose. So I think we just have to come out and leave it all on the floor and play together because we have a couple games left and then that's it.
And especially believe that we can beat these teams.
Yeah.